Students, we're going over lesson 1-2, so let's jump right into it. This is on page 10. Again, how do we do notes in this algebra class? We go over a problem from the book and then we do the got it questions together. Now you should have room for got it 1A, 1B, and 1C in your notes. So anytime it says got it, that's what you write down and that's what you complete in your notes. So we're talking about simplifying powers. We're actually doing the order of operations, and powers is one of the first things we do when we don't have brackets. We all heard of PEMDAS, right? So we'll get to that in a bit. A power is made up of a thing called a base and an exponent. The exponent tells you how many of the base numbers to multiply. It's basically repetitive multiplication. So I'm going to show you in this problem and a lot of problems the calculator button sequences on a TI-84 plus CE on how to get everything that you want to get. So we have a 10 to the 7th power. What does that mean? That's 10 sevens being multiplied. Now there is a shortcut with tens. It's just going to be that many zeros. But let's try the button sequence on our calculator. So here's the button sequence. You're going to type in a 10, and then you're going to do the power button right here. It's above the division sign. That's the power button. Some people call it the caret button, I think. So it should look like that. And then right there is where you're going to type in your 7. So you type in your 7, and there we go. I'm not going to, I'll keep the screen available. I mean, you all can push buttons. I don't need to show all of that. So there's 10 to the 7th power. Now, if you need to keep going, as you can see, it's still up in exponent font. If you push over, yeah, you'll get out of that, and then you can continue on if you want to. So 10 to the 7th power. Hey, look, same thing they got. Good job, 10 million. Now, the only problem I have with part B is that it's not going to give me a decimal. It's actually going to give me the scientific notation. So bracket 0.2, close the bracket, take that to the 5th power. Okay. Basically, just type it like I see it. That's going to get you a lot of math questions correctly. So if you can type it like you see it, you're probably going to win. But we'll come to that in a minute. So what is this? Okay, this is the scientific notation form. So this E basically stands for times 10 to the power of this. This -4 means, hey, you see the decimal right here? To get the actual real answer, you need to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the left since it's negative. So that's just a grammatical thing, all right? So this is the actual real answer. So if you get really, really small numbers, just don't panic. Just realize, oh, I got to move the decimal that way 4 times, or if it's, you get the idea. Here's what you need to do. So I would copy these first, and then I would calculate them after you copy them. So copy this down into your notes, and then let's go ahead and see what 3 to the 4th power is. 3 to the 4th power is, boom, 81. That's pretty easy. Now I'm going to show you a trick that will probably make a lot of math teachers angry, but I really don't care because it's a tool, so let's use the tool to the best of your ability. Why would you not let a student use a resource? It's too much of a shortcut. Yeah, I don't care. So here's 2/3 to the 3rd power. So notice I just did a bracket, 2/3, close the bracket. That's how you type fractions. And then to the 3rd power. I'm going to send it. Oh, gross. Yeah, you could write down, 0.96 repeating, or sorry, 0.296 repeating. But for me in my class, I really don't like repeated decimals. They're gross. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. You got this button right here called the math button. So go ahead and push that one time. This shows up. If you hit the math button, you have all of these gross things. There's some probability stuff. There's some other things. I'm going to change it to a fraction. So I'm going to select 1. Hey, human, you want to change your answer to a fraction? Yes, I do, Mr. Calculator. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Remember all the hours and hours and hours of time you've spent converting decimals to fractions? Well, guess what? It's a button or 2 away. That's 8/27. Okay. Did I write the other one down? Oh, this is 81. Okay. Again, don't forget, this is the photocopy of the book. Do not write in your book, please. Just write in your notes. The only thing you got to write down is the got it question. We go over, we do. Now, I want to show you some little teaser for the future. When we get into exponents in the future, there's this little trick that I call the frying pan rule. Okay. So I imagine the 2/3 is food inside of my frying pan, and this 3 is my seasoning. So when I season my food, both my 2 and my 3 is going to get seasoned. I wonder what 2 to the 3rd power is. It's 8. I wonder what 3 to the 27. Oh, wow. It's the same thing. Wow, cool. So a little spoiler, that's not until later in algebra, but it's kind of the same concept. Now, do you need to know that now? No. But can you calculate it? Yes. But I'm kind of showing you full circle, planting some seeds right now for the future that there's this thing called the frying pan rule, and also works out. 0.5 to the third power. I'm going to show you a little trick here. You don't have, if it's a decimal with brackets, you don't really need to do all of that noise. If it's negative, you should. We'll talk about that. But I'm just going to do a shortcut, 0.5 to the third power. Now, my rule of decimals is if it's not that bad, write it down. That's not that bad. 0.125. Now, if you want to practice that fraction button, math, fraction, 1/8. Nice. So that might be a thing you do here. Type in some random decimals. I don't know, like 0.35. What is that as a fraction? I don't know, math fraction. Boom. Oh, that's 7/20. Isn't that nice? Okay. What about 0.135? I've got no idea what that is as a fraction. I could spend a couple hours figuring out, or I could do it really quick. I'm exaggerating, not a couple hours, but you get the idea. There you go. So the fraction button, the math fraction button, is going to save you a lot of time. You've done your time converting decimals to fractions. You've done your time. Now it's time to speed things up and do it efficiently. Just saying. All right. So anyway, we did a lot of stuff there. We were just talking about powers. So anyway, power button, math fraction button, lots of things all over the place. Problem number 2, coming in hot.